Hi team, this is Larry. There's some new things that are going to happen with barcode charting. I wanted to show you the scanner, and I wanted to show you what they're being taught about the scanner. Okay, the scanner is attached to the WOW. Okay? They have there's a cord that attaches it to the PC itself. Okay, there's a barcode on the back of this. Okay, if for any reason they're having difficulties with scanning their patients or scanning the meds, if I scan the back of this base, okay, it's going to link this scanner to this base. Okay, if for any reason this one gets misplaced and they've picked up another one, okay, if they wanted to use it with this base, they have to scan it. Okay, and when they do that, now this barcode wand, they call it, is attached to this base. Okay, in the front here, if they misplace this, oops, where did it go? I can't find it. If they push this button, their barcode is going to make a beeping sound. Okay, to make it stop, all they do is they pull the trigger. Okay, when they pull the trigger, it will stop. Another thing that they're being instructed to with these barcode scanners is if for any reason they can't scan the patient's armband or the medication, they're putting these on the WOW, okay, and all they are is a barcode scan that makes that handset to a corporate standard. All that means is they want them to be so loud, they want them to be so soft, they want it to be, you know, to go, if it goes out of a certain distance, okay, that it will make a sound. That's what this does. Okay, the barcodes themselves are Bluetooth. Okay, you can go 5 feet. You can take this wand 5 feet from the base. Okay, other than that, it won't work. Okay, also when they do the scanning, if when they're scanning their patient, there's not a different sound if you scan the wrong patient. Okay, and that's one of the things that they're being taught. If they're in isolation, they actually can't take it into the room. They leave it in the doorway. If they scan the patient's armband, it doesn't make any other different noise. Okay, then they have to go look to make sure that they get the green check. And I'll show you that in this next part of the presentation. Okay, they're also being taught that the scanners are owned by Inthilio. Okay, when I talked with the Honeywell representative at Lansing, he said that 99.9% of the times, of course, he's talking about the Honeywell product, that it's not the scanner's fault. Okay, we'll see how that goes. But again, they're being taught, if they're having problems with the scanner, to call Inthilio. Okay, they've been given some ways by using, like I said, this barcode or scanning the back of the wand to make sure that they have it right. But I know that there's going to be a lot of phone calls coming to Inthilio. Why won't this work? Okay, so that's the introduction to the wand itself. Now let's talk about some of the clinical implications. This is the new barcode scanning program that will be coming live at Lapeer Regional Medical Center. One of the new things that they need to do when they come in to medication administration, this is going to be the default. Ready to administer. This action box, this scan box, all the way over here to pending, is brand new. Okay? So when they first come in, ready to administer, you have a patient or a nurse, they're at their WOW, they're getting ready to administer their medication. The very first thing that they need to do is go up to the patient. What's your name? Can you tell me your birth date? Okay? Even though barcode scanning is going to help with medication administration errors, they still need to ask the question. Hi, my name is Bob Smith, this is my birth date. Okay. Now they're going to scan their patient's ID. When they scan their wristband, if you look up where it says Visit ID, okay, there's a green check mark. That means that the barcode that was on the patient was read correctly, and you have the correct patient. Okay? If they have their medications ready, they can go to their first medication. I'm going to choose aspirin. Okay? They don't have to be on any particular tab. Okay? Any tab will do. Okay? Mine just happens to be on aspirin. What they're going to do is they're going to scan the barcode that's on the package from pharmacy. Okay? They'll scan it. Okay? This comes up because when they set them up in training, they're a Q an hour. This will rarely happen. A respiratory therapist may get this, but not always. Okay? So pick the one closest to my administration time. Let's say OK. And now they should always go to pending. See where my pending tab is? When I click on my pending tab, this is where all their scanned medications will go. I have a green check. Okay? This is new for them. When I go up to my Christmas tree icon on my secondary toolbar, if I click on it, this is a legend. Okay? Some new things that they're going to get is confirmed, locked, a witness, which is my little eyeball, less than ordered dose, greater than ordered dose, and it's kind of hard to see, but that's a check, red check with a plus in it, and my last is clinical observations. Okay, so those are new icons for the nursing team. One of the things that they're going to look for is that they get a green check. I have my ordered dose. I have my total scan dose. Okay. If there's anything that they need to do, and I'm going to show you an example of one that's maybe an underdose or an overdose, they can always go to confirm. When I go to confirm, this little C right here is telling the nurse that everything has been confirmed. There's no observations. There's no hard stops that they need to do. They're not underdosed or overdosed. For the scan on the medication, they can give it. Okay? They're to give the medication. When it's in this state, okay, if I come back to my schedule tab, see these locks? Okay, those locks are there so that no one else will come behind that nurse and chart. Nobody can chart an aspirin until the nurse that made these locks, okay, until she hits chart. Chart is very important. Okay, these locks will stay there for 60 minutes, 6-0. After 60 minutes, they fall off. If the nurse hasn't documented, okay, if it hasn't gone through the entire thing and hit the chart button, okay, again, that's why chart is so important. If they don't hit it, okay, after 60 minutes, 6-0, these locks will go away. And if there's another nurse that's on the floor and says, oh, look, Mr. Barcode 23 hasn't gotten his aspirin, I'll help Barb out. Well, now we've just double dosed him. Okay? So, I'm going to go to my chart button. Okay? Again, if I want to look at my pending tab, this tells me that I've checked everything is good. I'm going to hit chart. As soon as I hit chart, that medication falls off my pending tab. And now if I go back to my schedule tab, it should show right here that it was administered. Okay? They can still go in, and if for any reason they charted it on the wrong person, They shouldn't have, because my barcoding is verified my right person, the right dose, okay? But if they need to make their changes, they can still go in to my pill bottle, cancel the administration. That's not changed. They can still do that. Okay? And then if they do that, if they cancel the administration, it's going to go back that it was not ever administered. Okay? The other thing that they can do is they can scan more than one patient at a time. As soon as I've hit my chart, I'm saying to the system that I've completed that administration round. So now my green check, if you look up here, has gone away. Okay? So if I needed to do another medication, okay, maybe I'm, again, because if I got 3 or 4 laying around, it's going to take me a while to get what I need. Okay, so now, same thing. My green check is gone. Mr. Jones, hi, can you tell me your birth date? Yep, everything's confirmed. It looks correct. They're going to scan their patient's wristband. Okay. Notice my green check appears at the top of my EMR. Okay, and then all I got to do, because remember, it doesn't make any difference which tab I'm doing this from. Okay, I can scan my medication. Okay, so I'm going to do my nicotine patch and my prednisone. I scan the medication. Okay, again, I'm getting this just because this is in test. Pick the one closest to my administration time. I say okay. And now I can scan my other medication. Same deal. Only going to get this in test. Okay, so now I've scanned 2 medications. Where they're going to go? They should always go and look at the pending tab. Okay, there's my 2 medications ready for me to do something with them. My green check, okay, says that it's okay. It's the right order dose. I scanned it. It's 14 milligrams, and it's due at the correct time. Notice my prednisone. My prednisone has this little half bubble, which means, okay, here's what it means. Here's my order dose was 40 milligrams. Okay, well, and they only sent up 20 milligram tablets, so there's my 20 milligrams. Okay, there's one of 2 ways that they can do this. They can go in here, click on the yellow bubble, change this to 40 because this was the ordered dose, and this is what the administered dose is. Well, that was 40. Okay, and then if they do that, okay, they can say okay, and then they'll be able to administer it. The second thing that they can do, which I think is the easiest, if I just scan another pill, or it can even be the same pill as long as it adds up. So now I'm going to scan my second prednisone pill. And now here's my order dose. Here's my scan dose, so it's 40 milligrams. My green check says I'm okay. When I do my confirm, it's going to check it again. And if everything is correct and there's no problems, they're going to get this C. This green C says that they get the right patient, the right dose, the right time. Okay, then they go to administer their medications. As soon as they go and administer those medications, they come back and they hit chart. Remember, until they hit chart, when I go to my scheduled medication, I'm going to have that lock. There's my nicotine. That lock's going to stay there because that's one of the ones that's under my pending tab. Okay. That lock's going to stay there until the nurse hits chart. And as soon as I hit chart, I go back to pending. I gave the medication. I chart that I gave my medication. They go off the pending tab. I go back to my schedule. And if I scroll down under my medication, and forgive me where I'm on this VNC, it should show that it was administered. Okay? That's one way. The second way that they'll use this system is if they're going into the medication room. Okay? They don't have the medication at the patient's bedside. They have to go into the Omnicell, or they have to do whatever. Okay? Then they would change this default button from ready to administer to add meds to pending. I'm going to click on it. Okay? I'm not by the patient's bedside. I'm getting the meds ready. Okay? So now I can do what I have to draw up in the med room. If it's a multi-dose vial, I cannot take it out of the med room. Okay? So I'm going to scan the medication. Okay? There's my little error. It's a duplicate. We can say okay. This dose range present tells me that there's something that's required. Again, that's what this little pending tab is. Okay, that's saying I'm putting this in a pending status. Okay, my little red check with a plus tells me that it's over the dosage, and here's why it's doing it. It's scanned 300 units, okay, and I haven't put in my blood sugar, okay, because it's a random blood sugar. Okay, I'm going to do my my glucometer. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. Now they can come over here to this do button. Again, this is another prompt. It's a multi-dose item. Nothing you can do but other than say okay. So now if I come to my do, how much did I give? Okay, it's a bolded, it's a required field. So let's say I gave him 3 units. Okay. And this was based upon, or actually let's do 4. Okay. It's based upon my blood sugar of 225. Okay. Blood glucose is not required, but it's good nursing. So I'm going to say 225. Okay, and this is where you can get a witness. Okay, because you may not have, or you got to go get a witness from the bedside because it doesn't prompt you. It's not required at this point. Okay, but again, it's easier. I think it's going to be a lot easier for you. So I'm going to click witness. Okay, now the second nurse has to witness it. Okay, so now I've witnessed the medication. Okay, I've co-signed it, done my witness. I got my time in. I can say okay. Okay, now they're going to log out of the WOW or the machine that they were in. Okay, they take the medication, which they've labeled. They've taken the insulin syringe that they drew up. They're supposed to put a patient label on it with a barcode, and they take it to the patient's side. Then, when they come, they're going to do this ready to administer. Okay. Now remember, I still have to have Mr. Smith. Can you tell me your birth date? I'm making sure I get the right patient. I scan my patient's label. Okay. My green check comes up that says that I've got the correct patient. I go to my pending tab. Okay. Here's my pending tab. Okay. I've got that out of a multi-dose vial. I'm going to administer 4 units. Okay. I go to confirm. Okay. Because we weren't at the bedside, it didn't require an injection site. Well, now we are because we're ready to administer. So now it wants to know where we are giving the medication. And now we're going to say okay. Okay, it's confirmed. There's my little green C. Now I take my medication, I administer it to the patient. When I'm done, That's when I hit chart. And that's going to be one of the pieces that's going to be at the beginning is going to be missed. Okay, so I reinforce, reinforce, reinforce. They have chart it. If they chart it, it falls off of my pending tab. And if I go back to my schedule, if I find my glucose, and there it is right there. That's when I administer it, 4 units. Okay? Now, 2 things that if they're having problems scanning the patient's barcode, here's what they need to do. I'm going to go all the way out. And now I'm going to go back in. Okay, I've gone through my diagnostics. Remember we talked about the white square to make sure that the scanner itself is configured. I know I have it the right base. And that's a troubleshooting thing that they've done in class. If for some reason it wouldn't scan, wouldn't give me that green check, they've gone out of it, just like I did, and then they go back into it. I'm not sure if it refreshes the screen. I'm not sure what happens behind the scenes. Okay, they tried to scan it. It would not scan for whatever reason. They can override it with this little button right here. If they click on it, they have a barcode override reason. Why are you overriding it? It's damaged, the band was not available for some reason, or the band just would not scan. I say okay. Now in this visit ID box, they have to type in the number. And then hit enter. There's nothing that prompts you to say that you have to hit enter, because if you hit confirm, then you have to go through that process all over again. Okay? So I'm going to hit enter, and now my green check comes up. Okay? Now, the second thing, they try and scan their medication. It's not scanning, there's nothing coming over, nothing shows up in the pending. Okay? They can go in just like they used to. Okay? Here's the one, it's my 2 o'clock, my aspirin. For whatever reason, it just will not scan. Okay? I've done my diagnostics, I've done my little white square, and nothing seems to work. They can go in it just like they do now. Okay? The only thing is, okay, they have to make sure that they're giving the correct dose. Why? I overrode the barcode for the medication. Okay? So we're going to say the barcode wouldn't scan for whatever reason. If I use that little pull down, barcode won't scan. Now, they still will have to do the 5 rights only if they've had to use this override. Okay? And people are so used to doing it, even in class, that they just did it habitually and naturally. Okay? This is the only time if you override the barcode for the medication, you have to use the 5 rights, because if you do not, you get the same prompt that they've been getting. Okay, that my 5 rights are required, so they have to check on it. And now I'm going to say okay.